is Electro Jed, Electro 65 on Stickam. Some interesting history. Here we go. Well, for 9/11, I was 36 years old. I was recovering from a party the night before, and I woke up and my best friend, WizKid 2000, Ralph, tells me, check out the news. So I checked it out, and I watched as the first tower was smoking, was already up in flames. I said, what the hell happened? And Ralph told me a plane hit it. I said, oh crap, how the hell you make a mistake like that? As I was saying that, I watched as that second jet careened into the next building. Yeah, that's when I remember pulling all my kids out of school. All of them. And having a certain feeling of dread. Y2K. I was 34. I had a realistic view about what happened because WizKid 2000, he was working on a program to help his boss with a pawn program they were writing to get through the Y2K thing, and I had a Princess Diana. Now, you know, I was indifferent about it, but I was 32 when she died. Oklahoma City bombing. I remember I was getting up for work, and the first thing I do is I turn on the news and I get ready to go to. At that time, I was getting ready to go to Papa John's, and I remember watching this. I remember watching the fireman with the kid in his hand and crying. The kid was out. The fireman was crying. Yeah, I was 29 for that. I was also 29 for watching OJ get arrested. We'll just leave it at that. 1993, the first World Trade Center bombing. I was 28. I was actually in New York at that particular time, visiting some friends, and I heard about it, and said, wow. I remember thinking that we're not excluded from the terrorist club, are we? Yeah. Well, we graduated more later on, didn't we? All right. Let's see. Desert Storm. Desert Storm, I was 28. No, actually, see, Desert Storm was in 91. I was 25. I was 25 in Desert Storm. All I can remember thinking is that my brother was in the military at the time, and I wanted it to be over as soon as possible because he was going through boot camp, and I wanted that thing to be over before he completed boot camp. That's what I remember thinking about. The Berlin Wall. I was 24. I thought that was pretty substantial. Gave a lot of hope, you know, because as I go back, you'll see the history. I was 24 for the Berlin Wall. The Challenger disaster. That happened in '86. I was 20. I was going to be 25 that year, but it happened when I was 20. I remember that I was doing security work in New York, and I was watching the news or something. It was early. Oh, I was a security guard at this building, and I was talking with the doorman, and the doorman was telling me as it happened what had happened, because it was breaking daylight at that time. It was like around 8 in the morning or something. And he told me what was going on, and it was like, wow, yeah. And the big thing about it is I remember the school teacher being on there. It was going to be a big thing, and what a time for that to happen. And I thought about, wow, her class and her kids had to watch that. Kind of sucked. I'm gonna go back a little further. 1980 was a special year for me. 14 and 15-year-old that year. I was exhilarated to watch the 1980 Winter Olympic Games in Lake Placid and to watch the American hockey team beat the Russians. I remember jumping up and down on my couch like there was no tomorrow. My stepdad was so freaking pissed off at me because I was a big kid at the time. I could have broke the couch, but I was so in a patriotic mood when that happened. And then later on that year, for it to come down with the assassination of John Lennon, I took that one really hard. I liked John Lennon. Out of all the Beatles, I liked John the most. So yeah, that was pretty hard to take for a 15-year-old. Elvis died in 1977. Elvis died on August 16th, 1977. I was born on August 29th. So I took that kind of hard. He died a week and a half before my birthday. Let's see. We got out of Vietnam in 75. I was 10 years old. I actually remember watching that on the news. Nixon resigning, doing that thing. That was 74. I was 9 years. Woodstock. And the first man on the moon. Now, it may be hard for you to believe, but I was 4 years old. I was 4 years old, and I remember being on the couch with my mom. I remember her telling me in Spanish, I don't believe they did that. No se cree. No se cree. No puede. I remember that. It's one of my earliest memories. Going back further, I'm talking, I'm an old guy. Going back further, we can go back to Woodstock was important. Okay, the Tet Offensive, 1968. I don't remember it, but I was 3 years old. And that's as far back as I'm going to go.